Hey everyone, welcome to Full Moon Tarot 228. I'm Rebecca, and today we are going to do a collective energy reading. There's been a lot going on with the collective on all levels of evolution. I can feel it. I'm seeing it in other people's realities. My journey, part of my journey, I have a lot of parts. Part of my journey is divine feminine healing, and what I've been going through in the last few weeks has been pretty intense, but very expansive, because I'm choosing ascension. That's my path, is ascension. So anything that's coming my way, I'm choosing to integrate it with the highest light frequencies and the deepest unconditional love. And it's been an amazing experience at this point. Even when the very, very not preferable things come in, I'm managing to cope with them and keep moving. So that's been a huge blessing with these frequencies coming in. It's making that easier for me. I've also been very close to somebody and witnessing their divine masculine healing journey, and it is very painful. And I think that manifests on all levels, mind, body, and soul, and I think that it could manifest more in one way than another, depending on the person, their experience, and what they're going through. But the divine feminine, divine masculine aspects that are healing right now and going through, there's a lot coming in with these frequencies because it's really inviting us to ascend in a much faster way. And that's difficult at times. I won't say it's challenging. It can be challenging, but one way that I've been able to look at it is I always love a good challenge, especially and only if it is for the betterment of my evolution. Okay, got to throw that one in there. Really though. So with that being said, I know that there are a lot of ascension symptoms going around, and it's kind of easy to see when I really pull back and start looking in other areas, astrologically, or I don't know however you want to say it, but the sun has been giving off a lot of solar flares. They've been getting bigger, and I heard that people are noticing that these flares are starting to look like helixes, double helixes. Yes. That also being said, there were also some asteroids that came through the 23rd through the 25th. I think there were 5 that came very, very close to Earth. Interestingly enough, one of them was the one that we knocked into back in, was it September, but sometime at the end of 2022, Dimorphos, I think, that originally posed no threat to Earth, and then here it is coming very close. So that's, I find very interesting. But at any rate, there's been a lot going on above, so as above, so below. There's a lot going on down here, and it manifests in ways that maybe we don't, like I had mentioned for me myself earlier, prefer. But it is a linear way of seeing things that makes us not prefer things. When we can pull ourselves out of what is happening and see the energies play out, we can allow what's happening to finish playing out and just be aware, and that, I mean, that's half the battle, is being aware of what's going on. So then at that point you have the opportunity to respond instead of react. Okay, so I really wanted to kind of tap into these frequencies that are going on and the collective, and kind of see what's been going on. I don't know if this is going to be a pick a card reading yet or not. I'm going to pull 2 or 3 cards from this, just depending what comes through. And if it feels very different, then I might do a pick a card reading. But if it seems very connected, then we'll just keep them all together and just kind of separate and just dive in a little here and there. But yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a Beyond Lemuria deck, because we are ascending. We're going through a lot of stuff, and we're going beyond consciousness at this point, which is really good. Source of infinite intelligence, divine mind of all that is. I ask you here today, and every day really, but I ask you here in this moment to help guide me through these messages that are coming in through the highest light frequencies, by traversing the deepest unconditional love pathways, so that we may understand these messages to our highest benefit. for our evolution. Source, what is coming in with these frequencies, especially like as far as ascension is concerned? What are we dealing with? Like, there is a lot going on. So as a collective, what is going on here with these frequencies? Okay. Trust your innocence. Ooh, I'm getting a lot. Okay, so with this one, this is pulling back into the inner child, who you are, and coming into the heart and leading with love, doing everything with love, love being the pathway you take, unconditional love being the pathway you take through everything. And knowing that by doing that, by coming into the quote child within, you are receiving the most loving and highest lit messages and guidance. And so this card, I feel like I'm hearing like you just need to trust your heart. Just your heart, because if you are doing things out of love, not for yourself, but because you're trying to help someone else get out of a situation that's hurting them, you're loving them, seeing love as what it means for them to be happy, not what they're doing for you, but what you can do for them to see their own happiness, not to make them happy, but to help them see their own happiness. And then holding compassion, which means wanting to see those around you not suffer anymore. That's it. Not for your benefit or anything else, but for their benefit. So as long as you're going through for someone else, not because helping them will help you not have to deal with something again, but because it just genuinely will help them on their ascension journey, because we're all ascending. It's just we're all doing it at a different rate. And it's all honored and loved. But if you can lead with love, trust the innocence that's coming in. Trust that. Trust in that. Trust in your heart. Trust in your heart. That's really what I'm getting in with that. Oh, I've been hearing a lot about this stellar chakra, and it keeps coming up. My very, very good friend drew something the other day. Very beautiful, beautiful picture of Basset. And behind her was this giant orange, like, globe basically that was glowing. And I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. And in my mind I was like, what is that? Because, you know, I've seen on divine paintings like the white or the yellowish color halo, but this was very deep orange. And when I was listening to a couple of different readings on YouTube the last couple of days, I kept hearing something about like a stellar chakra and it being like an orange, like a bright orangey glow. And it was exactly like the way they were describing it was exactly what he drew behind this goddess. And here we are. Soul Star Chakra. Merging with the divine. Yeah, like that's what's really going on right now. A lot of the symptoms that have been within my reality, a lot of pressure, especially in the head, I'm drying out. Please make sure you drink water. Like, I'm saying that because I need to keep remembering to keep drinking water. I carry around something that's like, 64 ounces. So I drink about 1.5 of those a day. I need to be drinking like 2 or 3. Please drink more water because this will help you with this. But this soul star chakra, like this is coming up. Like this is source energy. Like it's always connecting in with you, but now you're connecting in with it. And I had channeled something a few months ago about God and how God works. And I made the comment about, just as lightning starts on the ground and reaches up and begins to reach up, the sky comes down to meet it. It's the same thing with consciously connecting to source energy. Source energy is always there. Like, that charge in the air is always there. But when there's a charge on the ground that begins to attract the charge in the air down, because as storms come in, the charges do change, but those charges are always there. They're just changing. As they reach up, it sees there's a connection to come down, and it just goes. And source energy is always there. But as soon as you make the conscious effort to start reaching up, and it's not even like a physical up, because source is everywhere, but it's like within you, reaching up within you to these higher chakras, like reaching up, that's what that energy comes down and connects in. So it's a matter of always making the choice that puts you in this. And I like how, oh, and there's even a heart here. I like how there's the solar plexus is lit up. It looks like the higher heart chakra is lit up, and then the third eye is lit up in the crown. And it's just, and look, even with the third eye, there's more eyes here. The heart is surrounding into, like, from the solar plexus into the heart. Like, this is just taking all of your energy centers and just locking them in. Just locking them in, and your energy is going to go skyrocketing. And so what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a lot of symptoms, a lot of ascension symptoms. You're going to probably hear a lot of different frequencies ringing in the ears. You're going to be feeling sick. You're going to feel a lot of pressure in your head. You're probably going to end up with like a head cold or a sinus infection, because your body is trying to adjust to the pressure changes that are happening. These are happening. The earth is changing. And so right now, this frequency that's coming in with the sun and all these solar flares is, it's just like ding, 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 turning them all on. Just turning all the centers on and just locking them in, activating them, just like connecting them. And someone mentioned this full moon coming up, and I really, 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 really want to talk about it, because with these frequencies, the way they've been since the last full moon, and how grand the sun has been, and even with this with the summer solstice change, like all of this is major energy coming in. And when that moon locks itself in behind us, and we're in between the sun and the moon, it is literally going to suck all that energy through the earth. So get prepared now. You've got a few days. Like, it is coming. There is a huge surge of energy coming. Just putting that out there. And this is just going to go doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So get yourself, just keep yourself into neutral. Get yourself into neutral. Keep yourself centered. Keep breathing. No matter what's happening, whether it's physical pain, anxiety pains, like any of this stuff that's happening to you, come back to your breath. I cannot stress this enough. Breathe yourself back inside of yourself so that you can feel yourself going up through these energy centers and activating them. Because if you're outside of yourself, because you're not breathing, and breathing is what brings us in, if you're not breathing actively and like consciously breathing, and your body's breathing to survive, you're outside of yourself. You are. And I can say that from personal experience. It's how it feels if you're not breathing. You're outside of yourself. You have no, it's just, and it can happen, it can feel and manifest in a lot of different ways to feel outside of yourself or be outside of yourself. New blueprints. And this is not that these blueprints haven't already been here. They've always been here. They're within you. New blueprints are new things coming online because of this. Trust your heart. Trust your innocence. Keep an open heart. Keep leading with love. And you will find your center. You'll come into your alignment. And that blueprint will come in. And look, you see how the star is up here and it's like coming down through her? That's how it happens. That's how it happens. Last night I started, like, my head was just like, whew, and it wasn't hurting. It didn't hurt. I just noticed that there was a lot of pressure there. And I was just like, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot going on, a lot. And I've been able to tap into quite a bit of it. But there's still so much that I don't even know about. And the more I learn, the more interesting it gets, for sure. I want to do a couple activation cards. Yeah. I'm going to do just a couple oracle cards for activations because there really is a lot going on. So, Source, what messages can you give us from this deck? What? Ooh, for sure. What messages are you trying to give us from this deck? Is there anything else? There's a lot going on, so I will take what the activations you give us. No. That was a big group, but discernment came out. This is really important. Listen to your heart. Trust your innocence. Right now, I wish I was a little bit more well-read in the Bible because I know there's a quote in Proverbs. And I think it was something that Solomon wrote. But it said, my son, if your heart is wise, or my son, if your lips speak what is true or what is wise, if your lips speak what is wise, then in my inmost being will be joyed. It's called resonation. If it does not feel right, it's not for you. And if it feels wrong, there's no such thing as wrong because everything happens for a reason. By that right, nothing is wrong, just a different way of looking at it. You're seeing contrast. So the whole point of seeing the contrast is to turn it so there's only light. So figure out why something came into your existence. See the light in it. Let everything go and keep going. Okay? Like, really, there's a lot going on right now. Everything happens for a reason. So we've got to start figuring out what it is and why, so that we can just drop it all. We don't have to do this. There is a way to go past all of this, but in the current way that humanity perceives reality, it's vital to us to understand what's going on. We didn't always need to understand everything, but I see through my own experiences how important it is to really just know what it is that we're even looking at, because knowing is half the battle. And then I come to find that, like, knowing is really nothing, and that living is everything. And that's how you begin to understand, to move into understanding. And then there's an overstanding. It's a lot, but this is really, really important. Trust your innocence. Trust your heart. Your heart will tell you. There's a reason why heart is spelled the way that it is, H-E-A-R-T. You hear with your heart. Ears that hear, listen with the heart. It's a beautiful thing that our English language is set up the way that it is. It's by no mistake at all. It was meant for us to see it now. There's so much. I'm gonna pull that one and then we'll call it. Okay. So I think these are like messages from the universe. Yeah. Sorry about that. With it being summer break, it's really hard for me to get through a reading without my kids coming in for one reason or another. Yeah. Moments to expand, let me tell you. So coming back to this real quick before I pick back up on what I was about to say. These blueprints. these blueprints, these new codes coming in, codes, keys, frequencies to activate. So this card is saying the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. And I love math. I like to, and I love to play with words. I like to make puns. I like to play with language, because it's all connected anyways. And so when you start to do that, you can really start to see that too. So I really like math because I came across I started doing something a few months ago and I realized, wow, math doesn't lie. It explains. Now, I like this card because it goes more into what I had been saying maybe in the last month or two for myself, that as soon as I let go and stop trying to figure things out myself, figure the numbers, then the universe can start to work its math. Yeah, and that's what you want. That's what you want. And you don't want, when you align yourself into who you are, what you are creating and what you want, and the divine path, like it's all in one. But as you're getting there to that flow state, surrendering this and letting the universe figure things out for you, so you're not doing all of that work to end up in a place that you don't necessarily really want to be in anyways. Let the universe do the work. Let the universe do the work. Stop trying to control your reality so much. Healing. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. So much light. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's hard if you're trying to read this stuff. It's a glare. Like I said, hard to get through reading. So it supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness. I was channeling some information about this yesterday for a collective group of people that are struggling right now with utilizing their inner light for themselves, which I find to be very interesting because this group definitely knows that they can heal. They heal others all the time. They just haven't been doing it for themselves. And now I can understand why for me it's been backwards. And it's okay. I started learning how to heal myself first and then recognized that I could actually heal others. So in that regard, I see how that path ultimately, even though I was very confused the whole time what was going on, was slowly gaining understandings, how it helped me, because I'm not really feeling this part of this energy coming in that I did a reading for before. And it does it by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses. And so that means going beyond to the eyes and the ears that are here, because we got to go here. So there's a lot going on right now, and a lot of it is it's very 3D, it's very sensory, it's sensory information coming in. And there's a lot, the energies are really shifting really quickly. And so in order for that to manifest in your life, there's a lot of abrupt that has to happen to quickly manifest, because things happening on the third dimension happen very slowly. So, we've been doing all this work up here, and now it's starting to find its way down so we can anchor the energy in. But while it's making its way down, it's showing resistance, and it's showing contrast, and it's shedding light on so much. And it's pushing us through these experiences that we agreed to go through in order to fully realize ourselves. Okay. Okay. So and then the last part, and harmonizing everything accordingly. Harmonizing has been a really big thing for me. I did a lot of this. I picked up on this frequency like 4 weeks ago, and I just really started tapping into it and just pulled it. I'm going to get this closer, and hopefully it'll zoom in on it, because maybe I'll take a picture of it. I don't know. Like, this is really important. This card is offering a lot of activations, and I can feel where they are within me, because I was activated on this earlier when this frequency first started coming in. These frequencies that I'm talking about first started coming in during this 369 portal that happened, that opened up, I guess, at the beginning of June 9th, 2023. Yeah, so June 9th, and I think it probably picked up probably around the 3rd. I'm not gonna lie, like the way this stuff happens, I swear it happens like that. So I think it started picking up at the beginning of June, and when I started to feel the frequencies, like I had just been introduced to the 369 energy like on the 9th, I think, maybe the 8th or the 9th, the understanding of that portal being a thing. And so I've just been witnessing these frequencies just pouring in. And I did a reading on that too, about dragon frequencies. And that's what it is. It's just really high vibratory frequencies coming in, and they're just pouring in. And I've had a lot of people say that portal is closed. However, I do not think that the effects from that portal are over, because I'm not the only one, but there are people like me that tapped into it and anchored it in, so that everyone else has this opportunity to keep tapping into this energy. We've anchored it in. So this dragon energy coming in, like, and I'm seeing this card that I pulled the other day, yesterday for this reading. It was the health card, and it had the serpent going through the cross, and I was just like, not both, just the one. And I was like, and it reminded me of Kundalini too. So this frequency is just really like pulling your energy up through you, so it's not getting stuck down low. But as that's happening, it's showing up with a lot of contrast, and it's really just asking you to harmonize it. Just bring the darkness towards the light. That's it. It's all it's asking you to do. Bring the darkness towards the light. Do what you can there to the best of your ability. No expectations of the outcome. If it's with somebody else, they have their own free will. Just leave the seeds and move. Leave the seeds and move. And remember to rest. Go within, because if you aren't resting, I mean, this whole thing, like, you have to be resting in order for your energies to even be able to get to this point. Self-care. That's something, that's really been a major thing for me to tap into, because I haven't really ever done that. And it's been interesting, to say the least, to recognize how bad it's been. I won't say bad, but just where I've been at in my life with regards to self-care and self-love. And one of the biggest things with self-care is resting, like listening to your body and resting. Even if there's stuff you feel like you need to do, you need to rest first. Like, your body is talking to you. It's your soul screaming out, because you're not listening. It's your body trying to talk to you. So really, like, what is coming in for you through your senses? What are you feeling, hearing, see, like all of these things, the pains, all of it. What is it? Go within and try to figure these things out, because once you start knocking out where the contrast is, all the light will just start flowing the pathways that they were designed to. Allowance. Yeah. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment. without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm affirming that because this has been huge for me. And I want to say something with allowance too. When it comes to people, when it comes to connecting with people and allowance, there is a fine line between allowance and forgiveness. And when you keep allowing things to continue, if they're not benefiting you, then that's something that you've chosen to do. But when it comes to allowance for life, this is totally different. When those things, that first time something happens where it's not preferable, that's just for you to, okay, cool. That happened. Don't prefer that. What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about life? What did I learn? And then what don't I need? Which will probably be most of it if it's something that you don't prefer. And then we just start working with the flow of things and taking things as they come. Maybe not accepting them for what they are, but allowing them to come through as they are. Because if we keep accepting things for what they are, then we're going to keep doing these same things and not really getting out of anywhere. But when we start to allow things to come through, when we start to allow things to unfold in the way that they are going to, it gives us this opportunity to expand, like that last word, to expand, because you're not setting limitations or preconceived notions on as to what things might be or should be or whatever, because I mean, we really only understand a very little bit of actuality. So just allowing the universe to do its magic, to work its numbers, just surrendering your linear desires, what you expect to see in the world, in the flesh. Surrender that, because when you surrender your expectations to the universe, surrender what you're trying to figure out to the universe will start to work numbers in ways that you never expected, and things will unfold. Like, one of my favorite things about life is serendipity. I can't tell you how many times I've started to walk down a path, and then as I did so, even if I did find the answer where I was going, as I'm walking down this path, there's always something that comes up that's so much better. And it might be another month or two before it unfolds. It might even be a year or two, but if you just keep following the vibrations, trusting your innocence, follow your heart, lead with love, allow things to happen as they come in. I don't even know if I showed this card here. And here's that globe that I was talking about, the soul star chakra. Yeah, so there's so much coming through, and you're being asked to just allow things to unfold. Trust the process. There are bigger energies that are at play right now that once they finish playing out, we will start to see them manifest here, and things will start to make more sense. That is what I'm getting right now. And so just allow things to unfold the way they are. Don't hold judgment for them. Just observe. Be that neutral observer. Take in what's happening so that you can recognize where it may be useful for you or someone else. And go into this healing. Do this healing. Go in and see why things are happening. Just start perceiving within what is going on. Why would you create something in this way for it to manifest for you? What is it trying to tell you? Fertility. The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. And I want to bring this card back up again too in just a second, but here is this one. Open up, expansion. Like, this is a big one. Expansion, allowing what's happening to come through so that you can heal it, harmonize it accordingly as it's saying down here, and then create something from it, grow it. I was just telling a friend of mine, you know, there's that saying, shit happens. And a few years ago, I added on to it. I seem to be adding on to sayings or understandings, and I enjoy that. But I added on to it, and I was like, shit happens. And then it rains. And then it pours. And it does. And then the sun comes out with a rainbow. And that's when those little seeds that were inside of all that shit, the manure, get the opportunity to be nourished with all of the poured down rain, and now the beautiful sun that's come out to shed light on the situation, right? And that's when the flowers start to grow. And so there's this, and the seeds allow nature to do its course. The seeds allow it, and they trust in their innocence. They're just a seed. They trust in their innocence. They trust that they're a seed that's growing into their new blueprint, growing into a tree. They don't ever fear. And they do go through this sort of healing process and it's not the same, right? It's a growth process for them, but they have to break themselves open in order to expand. And that, I'm sure, doesn't feel that great, right? I mean, it doesn't. Even being pregnant, my stomach expanding didn't feel that great. And so I can't really imagine, right? I mean, growing pains happen on all levels. It's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and on a soul level too. Growing pains come in, and it's just about allowing them to come in, recognizing them for what they are, seeing where they're at within you, seeing where you're at within it, and harmonizing it so that you can grow. I mean, the seeds take the shit in the rain and the sun and harmonize it and grow. Like, that's what they do. They do all of this stuff to grow. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So these frequencies that are coming in, I've talked about this too, it's going to help you start to see how you're loving people. It could be just one person. It could be all people. It could be a collective of people. It could be, how are you hating them? Because that is a polarity of love. So it just starts to open your eye, expand your mind to what you've been doing, how you've been loving. And this card in its own right came in a reading yesterday too with Mirror, and I was talking about something else in its time by creating your own reality. And then it came up, but it talked about all of the beauty that I see in you as a reflection of me. And so it's just recognizing that there's a connection, or you can create a connection. Even with the fertility card, you can create connections in which people, like, you can be seen and you can be loved in the same way that you see people and you love people. Like, this is happening to a lot of people right now, where they've been loving so hard and not really seeing a return, and they're starting to see a return, whether it's collectively or individually or maybe both. They're starting to see a return, and it's starting to open their eyes to themselves too. Yeah, because I mean, even myself going through this in the last couple of months, like seeing, and I mean, I've let go of so much. I've had so many opportunities to integrate what someone would consider as karmic situations, so that I can bypass them from now on. I've just re-impressed my subconscious with how I'm reacting and responding to things. I'm trying not to react to things at all, and rather I'm working harder to respond or just remain neutral, which is also a response. So it's, and I've been able to let go of a lot of my reactions, a lot of my subconscious tendencies, my programming, like a lot of stuff. Like I was diagnosed with PTSD, and it was not surprising to me at all, given what I've been through. But I had a lot impressed upon me at that point in time during my whole life, because I wasn't processing anything. I wasn't healing. And I was totally resisting, so I was not allowing anything to really come through, but I was allowing everything to happen to me. And there's a big difference between allowing things to happen to you and just allowing things to unfold while you're present for it. Big difference. Really big difference. I do want to... What do I want to do? I would like to bring in this, I say past life, but it could be in the past in this life. These cards I like to use for tapping into past traumas, whether they're from this lifetime or another lifetime, whether that's on a frequency that's perceived as past, or on a frequency that's perceived as future, or on a frequency that's perceived as simultaneous in another star system, or whatever it is. All of it still is relating to you now, as above, so below. And that being said, sometimes there are things that are happening more so in another aspect of yourself that are still manifesting in this one that maybe you don't really have an understanding for. So I like to use these for kind of activations. Some people tend to have thoughts coming through as like maybe they've had a past life with something specific. So sometimes cards will come through to say, hey, if you were thinking about this, this is for you. You probably need to go do a little research on this, because it's a permission slip. It's going to open you up a little bit more into who you are. I just like to get an idea of what's going on, like what your energy is as a collective, and what we're looking at as far as integration. Because there's a lot to integrate right now. But collectively, like, what are we really looking at here? So I would like to have some cards come through Source to see collectively where people are at. Maybe there's a group of people on here that need to see specific cards for activation. So whatever it is that you feel needs to come through, I will allow it. And then we'll work on integrating and harmonizing so we can create. So what do you have for us? Just wanted to do a few of those with my eyes closed to see how that worked, because I could feel the cards for a minute. I mean, I still can, but I just wanted to see what happened. Okay. No, there's still something in here. Okay. The arts. They told me to look. So I totally can get with this. This is... Get creative. Get creative. Start expressing yourself in ways that even, like, okay, so I started drawing and coloring, and if somebody had asked me before, like, can you draw? I'd be like, I mean, I can, I just don't. So I probably would have been like, no, I don't draw. But I can. And I've actually found a lot of joy in the last few weeks, like sitting down to draw, because I've had a lot of thoughts and stuff coming in, and like the stuff that's coming out is actually really beautiful. And even if it's not for anybody else but me, it's helping me tap into different aspects of myself by just allowing things to come through the way that they will. So this is a message for a good bit of you, if not all. It doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have to be drawing. It can be the art of conversation. I mean, there's so much, and conversation is a lost art. There's so many arts out there. There's so many ways to express yourself. That's what art is. It's the self-expression. So it could be writing, anything. Express yourself. Allow things to come through, and the way to healing is express yourself. Go find ways to express yourself, even if it seems weird, like getting a drum or something. That's not weird. Like it's not weird. It's not. Listen to your heart. Trust your innocence. Your inner child, yourself, is asking you to listen, because they're trying to give you these new blueprints. So these things like the art, self-expression, like new ways of expressing yourself that you're not used to in this lifetime. This is you. So follow that guidance. It's like, this is new for me. And I love to have conversation. I love to talk. I love to help people. And I don't really get to do that one-on-one. So when I look at the cards, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what people have going on right now. I totally can feel that within myself. I know where this is. I know where that is. And so this is like having the cards come up for me is just a way to tap in with people without having to actually talk to them. That's something I'm working on too. I need to be able to open up more, but this is a stepping stone for me. So I'm allowing new ways of expressing myself to happen, to come through, even if it seems weird to me. It's totally like not things that my family does. Most people that were in my reality up until a few years ago, like nobody was talking about this stuff. So this is very new to me. Even like religion and God and like all of it is very new to me still. So, it's been a very interesting experience living agnostic, for a time, bordering atheist, to be honest. It was getting pretty dark for a minute. But it's been a beautiful journey coming back from that and really diving into who I am, who we are, like all of it. Like, it's just been so much fun, even in moments that I don't prefer. I've been finding ways to find joy in those moments because there's a reason for it all. All right. So this card, encouragement. Yeah. I get it. It's hard. I get it. Like I was just saying, like this right here, me doing this, doing the cards and stuff, this is a stepping stone for me, because I really would rather be like what is calling my heart is quantum healing, whether that's through hypnosis or just one-on-one conversation and helping them re-impress themselves with thoughts and ideas, and doing that through a higher energy. And that's what's really calling me. But I have to still work on things for myself. But if I don't start somewhere, then I'm still going to be where I was at before, and I'm done being there. So encouragement. It's tough. Stepping out of your comfort zone, it's tough. And sometimes things don't look so good, and sometimes it's not the right time. And you might find that out pretty quickly. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Maybe that's what a lot of us are dealing with right now, is that we've tried some of this stuff before and it wasn't well received. But I've been receiving a lot of messages in the last few days that the trains are here. Like, we're at the station, we've been at the stations, we keep thinking we've missed the train or something, like we're not. But the trains are starting to arrive. The energies are here for us to step onto and expand out into, because there are people that are really beginning to expand things right now on a greater level. I saw earlier today that and this is giving me encouragement. I saw earlier today that New York City has mandated that there be like meditation, like public, like present breathing and meditation in schools for the sake of their mental health. And now this is something that I'm really big on. This is something that I'm stepping into now. I would like to get meditation in schools, in prisons, in mental health facilities. I want people to have the opportunity to know that there is a who inside of their what. That's all. I just want them to have the opportunity to know that, because from there, everything begins to change. Everything begins to change. So, encouragement. Be encouraged right now. These energies coming in, like, this is encouragement. These energies coming in, even if it's presenting itself right now in a not so preferable way, things are bittersweet, right? So it's bitter than sweet. Even the Sour Patch Kids, first they're sour, then they're sweet. So it is a little hard to get through some of these things sometimes, because we feel like we've been doing it over and over and over again and not getting anywhere without any results. And it's not that we're doing it over and over again without results. It's that it's just not well received. Somewhere in there, there's something that's being received, and then there's a reflection. The people that are tapping into this, I want to tell you, like, your reflection is so pure and high that people that don't want to look at what's going on within themselves, that would rather place blame on other people or other things, or it's not any of their fault, or they're not taking responsibility for their lives, they're going to run the other way. They're going to run the other way because you don't represent that. That's not the truth that you hold. You hold that everything is a reflection of you. And in your reality, so in your reality, everything's a reflection of you. In my reality, everything's a reflection of me. And we understand this. And we understand that there's co-creation happening when we create spaces and have these interactions with other people. Like, there's a higher level of understanding here. So the people that, they're going to run the other way. And you know what? That's not for you to worry about. It's not. That is their choice. That's their ascension journey. It's going to take them some time. But you need to be encouraged to step into who you are. Who you are. It's time to step out into that. The trains are arriving. The ships are arriving. All of this, whatever you're tapping in with, it's time. This frequency that's been pushing through in the last few weeks, it's giving you this nudge. And I was just talking about this in a room last night, and it actually resonated with the moderator, that she's like, I have to follow you because that really resonated. And I know what you mean. Like, I feel like there's just been this nudge. Yeah, there's been a nudge from the universe, like, giving you, like, hey, because you've got this new blueprint coming in, it's trying to show you something about yourself. It's encouraging you to step into yourself, to heal, to grow. It's really, 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 like, there's so much love in this frequency. And it seems contradictory when we see these awful things show up, but it's not. It's for the sake of you coming into yourself, especially if there's a lot of pain going on. I was hearing something again earlier with this healing, like, you are meant to learn to heal yourself. So that, I mean, you know how to heal others. Why don't you know how to heal yourself? And this is like, and I'm not trying to be condescending at all. Like, the fact that you can heal others is so honorable, and I aspire to do that. But this, like, you got to recognize, like, this is for you too. It's for you first. It's for you first. It's for you first. And so you might, and I keep hearing that frequencies are changing, things are shifting. So anything that you were doing before, even though it was working, things are going to keep shifting. So as soon as you get comfortable in something, it's going to change, and you're going to have to figure it out again. It's like growing up as a child. You know, you start to learn how to use your feet, and then you start tripping over them as soon as you start learning how to use them. But you're getting this new blueprint coming in, and things are changing for you. And so you are going to have to heal yourself. You can't just focus on other people. I know that you're service to others oriented. You're going to have to be service to self oriented too. You've got to find that balance, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, you can't. And I had to learn that, because that's all I was doing my whole life, was just giving to others. And I was not doing this self-care. Like I was saying before, there was no self-care. I had none. So this has been a huge process for me. So I'm very like adamant to make sure, like not even make sure, but just to get this out there that you got to put yourself first. You've got to work on healing yourself. You've got to do that. You've got to do that. And I'll tell you, for me, like a lot of it didn't even make sense until I did that. And so for you guys that are already doing this stuff, once you start healing yourselves, once you start doing it for yourselves, I am already seeing the expansion happening for you. Like, this is so beautiful. Like, you just haven't seen it yet. You just haven't seen it yet. And it's coming. It's coming. I can see it. I can see it. And you wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even believe it, because I'm seeing it from the other side. And I'm like, now I see the beauty of how you guys chose to do things, and to be doing it for someone else for so long, and to expand so much into that and your heart space into other people, to just all you have to do is redirect it towards yourself. Oh my gosh, like you are going to expand so much in the next few months if you just start healing yourself, focusing what you've been doing on yourself for a time, and then find the balance. Find the balance. You need to rest and find the balance. Yeah. Transportation. Train. This might be important for some of you. I'm going to come back to this one, because this one I'm feeling a little bit more connected to my 3D versus the collective. So I want to come back to that one. Ride the wave. Allow. Accept. Tap into this dolphin energy that's so loving and so conscious. And they just go with the flow of things. Ride the wave. And this energy is helping you do that too. Like, this energy coming in right now is helping you do that, because it's almost like, at least the way I've been experiencing, it's almost like if you're not in the flow of things, you feel it very quickly. You see it very quickly, you feel it, you hear the guidance, you're like, Yeah. Male, female. Every time I see this card, I think about balance. Balance. There's an imbalance right now between the masculine and the feminine. This could be as like the collective's imbalance, or, well, I guess if it has above, so below. So there's an imbalance right now in between the collective internally, between the masculine and the feminine. And there's a lot of feminine energy coming in, a lot of water, a lot of feminine energy coming in. And it's asking the masculine, the divine masculines, to tap in with their emotions. And it's asking the divine feminine to become in tune with them. And those that are in tune to begin fine-tuning them. And so, and masculines, divine masculines, this may not be that you're not even in touch with your emotions. You might be, but maybe this card is asking you to be in touch with your emotions for yourself. Recognize where you haven't been giving yourself grace. Have compassion and love for yourself. That's what I'm hearing with this card. Have compassion and love for yourself. Making a choice. Ooh, interesting. Making a choice. Now, I think this is interesting, because I'm actually attracted to both sides of this choice, especially because of the purple over here. Like, I love purple. I am purple. And there's light in there, but there's beautiful colors. And then there's light over here on this side. And it's mostly just light. And I'm feeling like, now I'm starting with making a choice in transportation. And then this is coming in, rescue. Yeah, okay, so somebody wants to help somebody out And within this collective, either you're the person that needs the help or you're the person that wants to help right now. And it's like, yeah, like what I'm getting from transportation now is, with making a choice in transportation, it's like you're having to choose the way in which you want to help. And there's a lot of different ways to do it, and you can do it third dimensionally, and you can do it on the ground, you can do it on a plane. Or you can do this more astrally. And I feel like that's what's coming in is having this choice to make here with helping someone. How, like, the mode in which you want to do it. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Maybe not the transportation itself, but the mode in which you want to do it, or that may be most beneficial. Yeah, but ride the wave, and gentle gardener. Gentle gardener, yeah, you guys have a lot of compassion for humanity, and which is why you're even at this capability of reaching this. I mean, if you don't have compassion for humanity, you can't really reach this. Because like I said before, like, you have to have all of these activated, this solar plexus, this heart chakra, and this third eye with this crown coming up out of the top. Like, you have to have all of this going. And then look, and all of these other energy centers are coming up. Like, there's so many other energy centers aside from just these chakras, and it all connects. It all really does. But you have, like, and there's a song, a Christian song, I don't know the name of it, but he talks about being bankrupt without love. Like, I could do all of these things. I could be a martyr. I could give all my money away to charity. I could do all of these things, but I'm nothing without love. And that is so true. Like, and this was the last card that came up, intention. Like, what are your intentions here? You're nothing without love. Like, you need to balance yourself. You need to balance yourself. And so that you can trust your innocence and help, and it'll help you make the choice that you're looking to make right now. Because the reason why you're having a lot of choices is because you're changing, your blueprint's changing. And so what's coming in is new to you. Maybe remote healing or astral healing is new to you. And so you're just following your guidance. Allow it to unfold and have the encouragement to do that. Ride the wave. Yeah, really. I'm going to pull like one or two more cards, maybe some from this deck and some from another one, because I like the messages that come through with these. Because I work with light. I love light. I love darkness too, don't get me wrong. I had to integrate my dark side, and I learned how to do that in a very intricate and interesting way. And so I can see people's darkness, and I love them for who they are, not what I can see in this dimension. And so I just really, like the messages that come through with these cards, because they are focused on light. And so, we'll just see what comes through for us. Oh, there's already a card flipped over. Oh, it's upside down, but we'll take it because it was like different. It stood out to me. Source, is there anything else that we can pull from this deck? Anything else that we can pull from this deck? Yeah. This one. I'm not going to speak too much on these. I will just allow what's here to really come through. So, your guides, source, like all of the higher frequencies right now are giving you this message that you need to write down your goals and dream big. There's a song I love to listen to. It's Goddess Code by Lizzie Jeff. And in there, she says, if you want to see it happen, write it down. That's law. Sorry about that. But yeah, so what I was saying was write down your goals and dream big. And if you want to see it happen, write it down. That's law. And it's very important. And I'll say that came from a song written by Lizzie Jeff called Goddess Code. And then I had somebody else tell me, I was doing a quantum healing, or I should say beyond quantum healing, because it was great. But when I was having this healing done, something that she had said was that my guides were telling me that I really needed to start journaling. And that's something that I've definitely been getting the guidance to do. I just haven't really been doing it. Yeah, I've done a lot better since I've had this quantum healing, but I do still need to be more proactive about it, because when I did it, I noticed what came through after that. So when she was talking to me, she was talking about journaling, and I told her, I started doing some video journaling. And she's like, well, that's good, but there really is something to writing it down. It's this impression that you do upon something that's also impressed upon yourself. And I love to type, and that's really good too, but she's right. I'll say that's accurate. From my own experiences, writing it down is the way to do it. So write down your goals and dream big, because you see this rainbow is coming off of it. It's right here. The light is within your dreams and goals, and that book is the prism that's showing the rainbow. It's showing the totality of what it is, at least within our own perception. Awaken your authentic self and be true to you. Yes, this goes back to trust your innocence. That inner child, that is who you are. Children are so connected. They're so connected to themselves because they haven't been washed by anything yet. They haven't been fully impressed, although I will say that that's not totally true anymore. They're getting impressed pretty young because of the technology, and that's good and bad. I mean, you can impress them with good things, positive things, and then you can impress them with not so positive things. And you can do that by being negligent and not paying attention to what they're watching. Yeah. Allow unlimited abundance. This goes back to allowance, and also allowing the universe to work its math, because abundance is not always money, and that's something that's really, really important to recognize too. It's not always money. Abundance is not money. Money is a form of abundance, but spiritual wealth is abundance too. Spiritual wealth is abundance too. And you see there are many different types of crystals in this picture. There's many different types of energies that we can consider, even conceive and perceive as abundance. It's not just money. And so the moment that you open yourself up to that, things will start to flow more. You'll be able to ride the wave more. You'll get in that wave. That phone call I just had reminded me of the metaphor that came in with this, and now I remember. And it's funny because I was thinking very linearly, and this is why I couldn't understand what was coming through with this. The trains have arrived. The energetic trains have arrived. It's time for us as a collective to step onto these higher platforms of frequencies, because it's time. The wave is here. Just follow, trust your innocence, follow that inner child, follow that voice that's calling your heart, and Yeah, there's so much. I kept feeling healing within, and I looked at this card again. Healing. There's so much. I know I have so much healing I've been doing. As there's so much. I chose to experience a lot of different traumas coming in, and for a long time they were very debilitating. And I don't. Now I understand. I understand a lot more. I understand it, and now I can understand a good bit of it, and I can see the reasonings for it all. Even, and it's getting easier now to see things as they're coming in too. I guess I always have. I want to put that out there too. I've always seen them as they've come in, but I've really began ignoring it. So this is allowing me to knock down that wall of ignorance that I created. Release self-doubt and let go of fear. And this is what I was talking about too when I was talking about how I've started doing this channel, and this is just a stepping stone for me to get more comfortable with receiving the messages that I have coming in from Source for other people. I've always been told I give really good advice, I should be a counselor or a teacher, and I just for a long time felt like I wasn't really in the right place for that. And a few months ago I heard that a counselor can really only take their clients as deep as they have gone. And so now I understand why I was so pushed away from that, because I had not gone deep into anything that I had done. I was receiving all kinds of wisdom as I've always done, but I wasn't embodying it myself. And while I can still help people, like I was saying before, I can still help people without helping myself. I was pouring from an empty cup, and there were people that were really taking advantage of that. And whether they consciously knew that or not, that's not for me to really care about anymore. But the healing the self first is so important, because if you have all these loose ends that are out there, or you have leaks in your energy because you keep offering more than you can give in the time, it just kind of perpetuates the cycle of it. And so I know that kind of came off of this card, and that wasn't totally with the card, but obviously that needed to come through. But going back to releasing self-doubt and letting go of fear, just letting go, surrendering to the universe, breathing the self back inside the self to receive that new blueprint through that star chakra, that soul star chakra. Celebrate, you deserve it. And you do. Like, there is so much going on right now. If you are making any kind of movement forward in anything, celebrate it. Even if it seems small, celebrate it, because this frequency is very, very high. It's showing a lot of contrast. And so it makes it difficult to move forward, because it's bringing up a lot to integrate. And so it gets really uncomfortable. But if you are taking any movement forward, celebrate it. We are in this moment of taking, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and we're only just beginning. So this is going to happen quite a bit until we get to that point where we're taking 5 steps forward and 2 steps back instead. So it's, and it will continue to be very similar to that. And we just have to recognize that it's duality. Like, we recognize that we are a universe, but there is duality that has helped co-create it. And so this is just part of our experience. And if we can just recognize that for what it is, then we're no longer a part of it, but we can work with it, if that makes sense. Like, we're obviously a piece of it, but not like a pawn in it. I'll put it that way. You're the hand moving the pawn instead of the pawn. And you're still your own pawn when you're the hand moving the pawn, if that makes sense. When you start trying to move other people's pawns, we just don't want to go into that. So, you want to move your own pawn. You don't want to be life moving you around. But you do want to ride the wave, but you don't want to be, you want to be the dolphin. You don't want to be the jellyfish. That's what I'm trying to get at. You want to be the dolphin that moves through the water with its own consciousness and not being sucked through the water by the water spill. align your intentions with your actions. And this comes back to this card that I was talking about earlier. And especially when you're going to rescue people or help them, for healers, this is so important. You don't do it for you. You don't do it for your benefit. You don't do it for your paycheck. You don't do it for any of those things. You do it for the sake of sharing the gift that God gave to you to share. They might be, quote, your gifts, but they're gifts that God gave to you, but they're not for you. Yes, they are for you because you have to self-heal first, but they're meant for you to share, to express those gifts. And that goes back to the arts. I wonder if that's still on the bottom. Yeah, the arts that I was talking about, this self-expression. And the best way is by aligning your intentions with your actions, and that's going through the heart. Going through the heart. And trust your intuition. She's always right. Trust your innocence. Trust that inner knowing. Trust it. Because you've got it. You have all the answers. You are the key and the lock. All you have to do is just figure out, you get them in your hand and, but it takes time. But you are the key and the lock, and I'm unlocking myself. Like, this is, yeah, there's a lot, but just trust yourself. Trust yourself. And that's another thing for the healing too, because when you go within, there's going to be a lot that comes up, and you've got to hear yourself and trust that. All right, last deck, and then I'm going to call it because it's been a minute. And I got to edit it. All right, Source, what do you have for us? What do you have for us? That was interesting. That's a lot. No, it's not. That's okay. And that one. And those, because they came out. I don't know why I take so much. Because there's always so much to receive. Always so much to receive. And I'm in very receiving mode. And I guess a mood too. Or Mama. What are you being called to journey to? This is your blueprints being activated. This is a new calling coming in. What is it? Trust your innocence. Trust your heart. Trust your intuition. Trust. Because the universe is working for you. You surrender, the universe is working for you. It's hard to always be working for yourself as a human being. But it's easier when you allow. It's easier when you allow. Yeah. I just love picking up cards and tapping back into them when I keep giving these messages out. What are you being called to journey to? Making a choice, transportation. And it doesn't have to be a physical journey. It could be a journey within. Keep that out there. This is so, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Like, this is really, really tapping into this. Listen, because this frequency is pulling in these energies. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Oh my gosh, this is Source is like, I'm talking to you. I've been talking to you for a while. What are we listening to here? What are you receiving from this? Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? I still hear mine ringing, but I've had a lot ringing outside of them, and I've picked up those calls, and I'm complying as best as I can, to the best of my abilities, with no expectations of outcome, because serendipity is a beautiful thing. play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Yeah, it gets hard because we get bogged down in life. But this is, ride the wave. The dolphins play in the waves. Like, they play around. We've seen videos. We've seen them in real life. Like, all of these things, if not, go look up dolphins playing, because they play. They ride the wave, but they play when they do it. They do it in a playful way. They enjoy themselves. Yeah, don't be so serious. Why so serious? I love the Joker. Inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart, which is literally what I've been talking about this whole time. Gotta go within. Gotta start listening. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. I'm thinking about what happens. Okay, so like when you go to work out, especially if you're trying to build muscle, you've got to give your muscles breaks, because what you do when you go in and you start building muscles, you actually break them down first. So you're tearing your muscles apart, and what they do is they rebuild stronger in its place because it recognizes that it wasn't strong enough to begin with. But in order to build up, there must be rest and rejuvenation. Now, it should be rejuvenation and rest, because I've rested without rejuvenating, or I should say replenish. Here we go. Replenish, rest to rejuvenate. If you do not replenish what your body is missing, your physical body is missing before resting, the rest becomes pointless for the most part, because you'll wake up feeling worse physically than you did before you went to sleep. So that's really important to make sure you drink a lot of water if you're about to take a long sleep session. I know that seems counterintuitive because you don't want to get up to go to the bathroom, but you need to be hydrated. You need to be hydrated. And if you're sleeping for that long, that means you're not drinking for at any point in time during that. And so being hydrated, and it's so important because having that water is what allows this to start flowing. The earth is what, 70% water. We're about 70% water. If we look at the earth and it doesn't have the water that it needs, it's not flowing. And we know that when we look at it. If it's not in the right places, or if we don't have enough. And this goes with this take a break. No. Learn to say no. Even to yourself. This part of yourself. Listen to this part of yourself. Not, even if this part is like, but we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and we've got to do this. No. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. Take a break. Take a break. Look, I gotta tell you guys, like, if you don't take a break, there's so many different things that can happen to you physically, mentally. When I first started ascending 5 years ago, I didn't take a break. And I kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going, and I wasn't processing anything. And you have to process on a mental / emotional, physical, and spiritual level. You have to be able to do that, or it gets stuck somewhere in the mental, physical. That's what happens. It gets stuck somewhere over there. If it doesn't process, then it can't flow. And it gets stuck, and it leaves space for contrast later, and it just goes and it goes and it goes. And the only way that we can prevent that is by taking a break. And I'm going to end with this and end with my favorite SpongeBob episode was and is the chocolate episode where they go to sell chocolate. And they just finished talking to the salesman, and I can't remember what he was selling before, but they just finished talking to the salesman, and SpongeBob and Patrick are talking about like starting a business. And SpongeBob says to Patrick, "Quick, Patrick, think of somebody that everybody wants but nobody has." And Patrick said, "More time for thinking." And SpongeBob said something along the lines of, "No, Patrick, something real." As if time for thinking is not something that we relate to as being real. And I recognize that that's true. Like, we don't give ourselves time to think. Which again is why it's such a great thing that New York City is mandating this meditation in schools. Like, it's not mandating prayer. It's not mandating that you talk to any higher power at all. It actually is just mandating quiet time to come to be within themselves. And that's all, like, that's a big dream that's I've had for a few years that I see coming to fruition, and other people are working on it. And I'm great with that. I don't really care how it happens. I just want it to be there. And, okay, not true. I do care how, like, the intention. I care about the intention behind it. I do care about the intention. I care that the intentions are aligned with the, I don't know where that went, but yeah, that the intentions are aligned with the actions. That I do care about. So I do care about how it comes to be, but I don't really care so much as who does it, as long as the intention is there, that, and it's aligned with the action. And the whole point of meditation is self-expansion. And so if that intention is aligned with the action, then it's totally fine. So I I'm totally on this energy right now. I 100% have been on it, and I have really enjoyed, even though some of it has really sucked, I've really enjoyed being able to come into myself and not allow it to bother me as much. I'm getting to the at all, but as much. You know, I'm human, and I feel like things are still, I'm always going to have these little things, but when I can get to the as much, and I can get into my neutral observer and into that neutral state much more quickly and easily, that's great. Like, I'm all for that. So like, you guys have no idea, and I will expand a little bit more about myself as we go on, but I like, this is really wonderful energy that's been coming in, and it is sticking around because, like I mentioned earlier, people like me, and I'm not alone here. People like me have tapped into this and have begun anchoring it into the earth. This frequency is here to stay. So if you are concerned that you missed the portal or whatever, you didn't. You didn't miss anything. I mean, you might have missed it in the moment that it was happening, but you didn't miss anything. Nothing's gone forever. This is sticking around. So, because people like me have decided that this is what we need. Like, the earth needs this, and the earth decided that the earth needed it too, or else it wouldn't be here. So these, and you know, we'll come back into other understandings of why things have to happen the way they do later on, but it's these frequencies have been really great. So I cannot be excited enough for you guys, because I'm going through this now, and it's been so expansive. My heart has just opened and opened and opened and opened. And even, like I said, I still have my moments, and I've got kids, and they drive me nuts too. Like, having them was a major design on my part. Because all I wanted to do from the time I was a kid, I didn't know about like having any job or anything like that. I just want to have kids, which was kind of weird. But what they've done for me, and I guess the reason, like, my soul knew that I needed them, and that's all I knew. I just knew that I needed these kids because I guess I could see what was coming, even though I didn't see what was coming. But I knew I needed these kids. and they've been a major gateway for me, and I'm like a gatekeeper. And so and it's true. Like I'm given information that I'm not even allowed to expand. I say not allowed to expand on. I can do whatever I want, but there's always a consequence to everything. And so sometimes I see the bigger picture for people, and I'm not allowed to say anything because it's part of their evolution, and that's been hard too. And I want to put that out there too, because this comes back, and I'm like putting cards away, and this coming back to this, like rescuing and making a choice. You have to really feel the guidance too as to what can and can't be said or done in a moment. Obviously, like, you don't want anybody to die, so you will say what you need to say there, but and you don't want anybody to get hurt. But when you see life happening, like life is unfolding, it's not like them doing it or somebody else doing it to them, well, so to speak, but like malicious, well, hurting, like killing. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but it just, yeah, like it gets hard. Like you because if you do say something that alters the trajectory of like their free will, because especially if you didn't ask, like for me, my design is wait for the invitation. This is why. If somebody asks, you can give it to them. But there's still even a higher guidance there too, that there are some things you shouldn't say because not yet, or wait on, or just allow them to unfold so you can expand on them when they finish unfolding. And help shed light in areas that didn't make sense before, because it can also alter your own path. Like you might need some of these people in your life, and I say need, I mean, some of these people could be really huge assets for you, but if you run them off because you said something that went too far or whatever, like that's a like a consequence on its own. So it's really it's this energy that's coming in. It's really you're expanding and exponentially, and it's time. Like with this, the trains are here. It's time. So go within and trust your innocence. Allow the universe to unfold and just integrate and harmonize. Don't attach to what's happening. Just integrate and harmonize and understand why something's happening so that you can grow. That's all. All right, everyone. Well, have fun tapping into this soul star chakra. This is, I mean, and bringing in your new blueprints, like, and they're not new. They've always been within you, but they're just activating within you. So you're tapping into them. You're tapping into your own frequencies that have already been there, but are now vibrating in a way that you can recognize that they're there. So good luck, everybody. Make your own luck, because that's what we do. And have fun. Have fun. Don't be so serious. Have fun with it. This is life, and celebrate those small moments, because like I said, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's going to be a while before it's 5 steps forward and 2 steps back. So just trust the process and bear with it. Ride the wave. And feel this encouragement coming in too. Like there is so much encouragement from the universe with this, because it's time. The trains are here. It's time. It's time to get on the train. The energy lines are here. And it's time to get on. All right, everyone. Until next time. Bye.